Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to cut up and make my own grill. I'm going to tell you what happened with this and reprime it. I'm going to show you the dipstick and hopefully have this thing almost ready for paint. Stay tuned. Hi everybody and welcome back. Thanks for joining me today. So like I said in the opening, this ain't primed anymore. I primed it once already and yeah, we kind of had a bad experience. Now if you saw the last video, you'll kind of know what happened. But the gist of it is don't always trust the paint that you buy in the stores. The primer I bought, I mean, it was brand new and it didn't cure. There is an expiry date on aerosol cans. So I meticulously cleaned this all off and as best as I could anyways, sanded it down with 400 and I'm going to use a completely different primer. Now I had two cans of the same and one was almost empty and it worked fine. I sprayed this, I sprayed the inside of this, and can was running out, so I shook up the other can and got it ready to go, and I started doing the outside and the doors. And yeah, it's been almost 2 weeks and it just didn't want to cure. So that's what's happening with that, and I'm hoping to have this primed again today. Also, I'm going to cut this up. Now this is supposed to go in here, right? This gets painted body color, and then this one, yeah, this one goes, radiator goes like that. And I mean, to me, that don't look very good at all, right? I mean, the front side's not bad, you know, but I can definitely improve it. Now there's this option where they have this grill, right? It's chrome on the outside, and you got, not sure why, but two different sizes of radiators. So they kind of go on somehow in there. They got pins that you can't see. So you got that one. Or this smaller one, again, right? Sits on these pins, like so. Now again, that doesn't look very nice. Now this rad is completely flat, as you can see. Whereas this one definitely has a V to it. So I'm not using this one. I'm going to use this one. And what I'm thinking is, well, I'm gonna probably make my own radiator. Then I need something here. We go like this, poke that chrome out of there. I'm thinking of completely cutting this out. And I've got this really tiny styrene rod. Now I'll let you know what it is in a bit because I don't know offhand. But what I'm thinking is, zoom back in for you here. What I'm thinking is once I've got this cut out, I can just glue these in from end to end, you know, and just make my own little bars. So you'll be able to see right through this. And then once I make my own radiator, whichever one I need, this one, I'll mimic this one and I'll make a better radiator. And that can stand on the frame. So this piece here is supposed to sit like that. And then with this radiator glued on, it's supposed to sit in these little notches, like right here, right? So I'll figure out a way to mount this and make it look nice. I've got some styrene cardstock that I can use and kind of make a better surround. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. So aside from that, if the priming goes good, I'm going to be looking at mounting the hinges in the doors. So I'm going to get some of this stuff done, and when I come back, I'll show you where I'm at. And while I'm doing that, how about you hit that like button for me? And if you haven't subscribed yet, maybe do yourself a favor and go hit that subscribe button for me. I mean, it is free, right? Don't forget to hit that bell so you don't miss out on other videos that I post. So I'll be back in a second. Okay, so here's the situation. Now, you saw I had stripped the body and some other things, and I was going to reprime with a totally different primer, an acrylic primer this time, instead of the lacquer based or whatever automotive primer type thing. And well, I primed it and I've re-stripped it again because I don't know, maybe it's the primer that was underneath. Maybe there's still some residue. I mean, I've done all kinds of things here, and I'm kind of getting a little peed at these freaking primers. I'm having a hell of a time with primer. But anyways, so I've stripped it again. And this time when I painted with the acrylic primer, I primed everything. The frame, the body, the motor, the chassis, everything. And yeah, I had to strip it all. But before I fully get to that, here's the radiator. Now, I said I was going to make my own. Well, I kind of did. I cut the top and the bottom off, and I made my own side pieces. Now, I used some Detail Master, the photo etch radiator face, and some wire mesh that from the dollar store, and this is what I got. You know, and as you can see, you can see through it barely, but you can see through it. You know. Now, I needed a fan for this, and I couldn't find any photo etch fans that were small enough. And as you can see, there is still some primer left over on this. So I took all that time masking this off to prime it, and then I had to strip it. That was fun and interesting. But anyways, I needed a fan for this. So a friend of mine, Steve, he everybody calls him Curb, and I want to thank Steve for this stuff here, but he sent me out some electric fans that he had laying around, or some fans that I could possibly use. Now, I've already cut them up a bit, but here's one set of fans. You know, there's that, and then there was one as a double fan. You know, this one's already cut out through. You know, it's the way it was, so I've cut one out. Now, I've been sanding it down, filing it down. I got to strip the paint off of it, which is not a big deal. And this will fit just nice inside there. So what I'll do is I'll take some sheet aluminum and I'll make some brackets for it and things like that. But this is going to look good in there. So again, thanks to Steve, you know, for sending me out these little bits. And this one here is going to work great. So I'm going to strip this down and finish making it and things like that. So that's where that's at. Now, I did do the grill. Like I said, I was going to cut it out, right? And this is what I ended up with. So I did fill in the edges. Now this is just the first priming. As you can see, I got some edges here to fill in where I filled in the faces. So when this sits on the frame, I even made a notch for it. All right, so when this sits on the frame, it can sit there all by itself. Okay. This will sit in those grooves. It can't move side to side. Can't move up and down. So that can get glued on by itself, which will leave, you know, real nice grill look. All right. And then once I put the radiator in behind, that's all painted up nicely. So this here will sit like this. This is probably going to be hard to do. But anyways, you get the idea of it. This here will sit in behind. You'll see that in there. Electric fan will be on the back side. Now, as you can see, the stuff I've primed is now black. This here is Premier Primer from a store here in Canada, Canadian Tire. And this stuff dried, cured no problem. Frame and everything. Now, I'm not sure if I showed you guys this, but I built this box piece. And this here, again, interior is now primed, body's primed, or the chassis primed, everything. This sits like that. And in this box area is where those taillights will sit. So when it's underneath and the body's there, like so, you won't see nothing. All the wires will be hidden, the LEDs will be hidden. So that's that. So yes, everything is now primed black. And as you can see, you know, I'm scratching the hell out of that. And don't worry, there's a fuel cell that goes there. But, I mean, it takes quite a bit for that to scratch. So that means I can sand this with no problems. It's good to go. The doors are done. You know, I did a couple scratch tests where you're not going to see it. But the doors are done. This one here. Now I still got a couple little touch-ups to do where the door handles are supposed to go, but I've shaved them off so you won't see them. This one needs a little bit of sanding. Touch a few things up, nothing major. It's kind of part of the deal when you start chopping the top and cutting doors open and everything else, right? That's the way it goes. Now, I did prime the engine as well, but I did spray it with Extreme Metal from AK. This is the aluminum, right? Now, it worked and sprayed beautifully, cured no problem on this primer. Not a big deal. Now, you know I'm going with the yellow on this car, and I did use turn signal yellow from Testers. Thinned it out, and people were telling me it's transparent, which is why I went with the aluminum first, right? Instead of trying to cover over black or gray. So I gave it the aluminum base first. But let me show you, because I painted something here and it looks freaking awesome. But I want you to let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. This is what it's going to turn out to look like. Now, it is a little more of a goldy yellow off camera, but it's actually pretty darn close. So dull this down a little bit to more of a goldy yellow instead of this lemon yellow that you guys see, or at least what I see in the camera. Well, let me know what you think of that. Now, of course, I got to detail paint a bunch of stuff and everything else. But this is pretty much the way it's got to stay. There's a chrome pan here and a chrome pan here. Paint the filter and the starter, a few other little things. But once I start putting aluminum pulleys on here and the nice black belt and the chrome alternator, you know, my headers, all that stuff, and then chrome valve covers, I mean, this thing's going to look pretty darn sweet. Now, the frame itself is getting painted gloss black, so this is a pretty close representation of what it'll look like in the frame. Okay. Of course, the radiator is going to be aluminum, so when that's sitting on there, that'll be aluminum. That'll help break up the color. I'm going to spray the bars chrome, but the outside shell will be the same color as the engine because I want the body in that to be the same color as the engine. So you'll have the black frame, you'll have the yellow shroud, you'll have chrome bars, aluminum radiator. Now when I go to do the body's going to be yellow as well, but again, the frame will sit down below. You'll see gloss black here. This will be all yellow. And I'm going to do the firewall gloss black to give it that little bit of a breakup so that the motor doesn't blend in with the car. All right. So you'll have gloss here, gloss black here. The engine will be yellow. That'll be yellow. You'll have some spacing in between. Right. And then you'll have the yellow on here. So let me know what you think of that, you know, and what you think of this grill. What do you think about the color? If you have any tips or anything about priming, I'm just having a pain in the butt time for this. But right now, I'm going to be doing the Premier Black. And unfortunately, if I got something that's a lighter color, I'm going to have to base it with something else first before I do the lighter color. Okay. So my next thing is I'm going to prime this. Before I primed it, I wanted to do some work and get my hinge tutorial done up a bit before I prime this, and you wouldn't be able to see it. So I'm going to prime this. I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of body work I still need to do. So once the priming is done on that, I can finish that up, touch up any priming I need, and then I can start doing the aluminum on all the body panels, right? And that'll get the base down for doing the yellow. So I'm going to go do that, and when I've got that primed, maybe even sprayed with the aluminum, I'll be back and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay guys, I'm back. As you can see, I went a little further than the aluminum base killer. Let me give you a quick showing of what's going on here because this video is starting to get a little too long, so I don't want to babble on for too long. You saw the motor painted, and now I've got pans and stuff on. Here, come on, focus. There we go. So I got the pans on, pulleys on, started doing the wiring. Valley pan, valve covers are all in. I still got to do all my touch-up painting, so that'll be done in the next video. I get the fan cut out, so I got to make the bracket for that, and that'll be done in the next video. And as you see, the body is painted, you know, nicely. The underneath will be a different color, so I'm not worried about that. Same thing with the interior, but as you can see, all those nice gaps are filled. You know, firewall's getting painted gloss black, like I said. Interior is getting a different color, so I'm not worried about that. You know, doors are painted. And again, I've got those aluminum pieces that I made that are going to go on there. All right. So I'll finish drilling out my holes, make sure they're right. I got one to drill on this one once I know exactly how big it is. Put my panels on. These things can get glued in. Here's the grill. As you see, the nice chrome bars on there, and I just used the malt-off pen for that. All right. So that'll look pretty good. I think I got to touch it up in a couple spots, but we'll let it fully cure. The frame is gloss black. You know, so that looks good. Interior is still the same as it was. So in the next video, I want to get some of the suspension on there so that I can start figuring out where all my lighting and wiring is going to go, because I need some of that in place to be able to mount my lights. I may do some more work on the body and start getting the interior painted. A lot of it's going to be aluminum framework, right? So that'll have to get painted. So in the next video, I want to try and get the suspension on. I want to try and get some of the lighting and stuff wired in and mounted where it's supposed to be. You know, touch up the doors, get the rear taillights ready to be put in, because again, they can't be put in until, you know, everything else is done and the frame goes on for its final mounting. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and make sure you don't miss that. And the best way to do that is hit that subscribe button for me. Make sure you hit that bell notification so that you get notified for all the videos. Also, if you want to give me a follow on Instagram and my Facebook group, the links will be down there in the description. I also have a Facebook account down there, so that if you want to, you know, chat or whatever, show me the work that you're doing. Love to see it all. If you have any questions, make sure that you post in the comments down below here. I'll try to get back to them. And if you need help with anything, hey, that's what the Facebook group and Instagram and stuff is for. You know, I'm sure people will give you a hand there too if I'm not able to. I do have a PayPal me account down there. If you decide that you want to try and help out the channel at all, it all goes back right into the channel. And anything that you do donate is muchly appreciated. And anytime that you do donate anything to the channel, I will put your name up in the credits for sure. And with all that being said, make sure to have fun. Just do it your way. Until next time, later.